We are Two Guys Playing Zelda, and you can follow us on Twitter at Two Guys Play Zelda or email us at twoguysPlayingZelda@gmail.com.
Welcome to our video for the Goron Mines. It's the second dungeon in Twilight Princess, and if you're familiar with some of our dungeon rankings and videos, then you'll know that I personally am a big fan of fire-related or volcano-style dungeons, and I will say Goron Mines is no exception.
Yeah.
I love this dungeon.
And I'm not really a big fan of those types of dungeons, but I just ended up really liking this dungeon. I don't know, it just had a different feel to me than all the other fire dungeons, I guess. Like, it kind of feels like, I don't know what kind of mine this is, but it kind of feels like it has, kind of like that miney feeling to it.
Plus, I think this was one of the first games they could really like make this lava and fire look so fantastic.
Yeah, more realistic a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, you about jumped right there.
Yeah. Trust me, I think I do end up in the lava.
But I think one thing also, and we always talk about the themes, like I really like this theme
Yes.
for this dungeon. And I think a lot of the other fire dungeons, I just really wasn't a big fan of the themes.
Yeah, it seems to fit this dungeon really well. And one other mechanic you're going to see us use quite a bit in this dungeon is using the iron boots, which normally you kind of associate, you would think, with water temples. But in this one, we use them not only to flip heavy switches like you're seeing us do right here, we'll also use it as like magnets.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool concept a little later in the dungeon.
Why do you always gotta bring up the water temple? You always gotta bring up the water temple.
I know, that always puts us in a sour mood right off the bat.
But that is one of the reasons why I like this dungeon so much, is that whole magnetic boots, like upside down, walking on the wall. Like, that's a concept we never saw in Zelda, and we haven't seen that since.
No, not really.
Well, there's only been one game after this, but still.
True. But it is pretty cool a little later on when we're like trying to do things hanging upside down from the ceiling. It is really cool. That's definitely added to the appeal.
And just like we talk about those little things sometimes in Zelda, just the sound of running across that, I guess it's a fence or metal, whatever you want to call it. Like, that just adding that different sound right there, just, I don't know, just adds a little bit different element to this dungeon.
It's a little touch, and like as soon as you switch to another surface, the sound switches away. It just shows the attention to detail.
Absolute sheer genius.
And I'll be honest, it makes it easier to cut some of our videos.
Yes.
Little insider knowledge there. But no, I agree with you. It just shows the appreciation that Nintendo puts into the details and things like that. It is one thing to remember when you do hit these switches, though, you are timed on all these flames.
And you about missed this one.
Yes.
I remember when I was cutting this video, I was like, he's not going to make that. He's not going to make that. And you barely got it.
I was thinking that when I was playing it, so
yeah.
Don't worry.
I mean, that's kind of a long... Well, you almost jump into the wall right there.
I don't get through by much, but there's also one here in a little bit where I had to pull a door open and I barely make it.
Yeah, that's true. And I love this right here. Just, I don't know, it's just cool right there. Put on the iron boots, that little, whatever you want to call that thing.
Just to add more weight to you to lower the platform. No, I agree. And I will say, after playing through something like Ocarina of Time, where you had to go to your start menu every time you change your boots.
Oh, God.
Being able to equip them as an item made this so much less of a chore.
And I think I'm not gotten into that part in the 3DS game for Ocarina of Time, like just going to that real quick. But I think they did change that to where you can switch your iron boots or whatever.
Goodness. I mean, it was a great idea when they implemented it here in Twilight Princess. And otherwise, I don't think some of these puzzles would have worked out very well.
And we've said this in many of our commentaries that we just love the whole outside theme to it. And in this dungeon, we go outside in a couple different rooms, really.
Yeah.
And these are not like small little openings. I mean, these are really big rooms.
Yep, and obviously, if we looked up, I'm pretty sure we'd be able to look out at the top of the volcano in this room. And this is kind of like, I guess, the central room. We'll be in here a couple of times.
There's kind of a couple, though, isn't there?
There are. This one's a little more, I guess, spread out.
Yeah.
Than a lot of the dungeons.
Yeah, and another thing, I love all these platforms, like, just all, above the lava and everything.
It's pretty cool when we first walked into this room, too. Like, they showed some of the I guess you call them cranes or lifts or whatever above your head. It's like, that's the only way we can get to the second half of this room is to eventually activate those. But to do that, we got to kind of take the long route around. Yeah, very smart buying design, if you ask me.
One of the coolest things in this dungeon, though, is like using those boots and like kind of zooming to the magnetic part, which I guess we kind of do with those lifts. But like later on, when we got to turn on that switch and we like jump off a platform and then like go slamming into the wall.
It's one of my favorite moments in this game. It's just little touches.
Once where the iron boots were actually cool.
It is pretty nice, though, like I mentioned, just to be able to equip the iron boots on the fly like that.
What are those things called right there? I forgot. I knew like right before this
commentary. The dongos, correct? Aren't they just...
they might be the dongos. No, those are gators. Well, they're not gators. That's not the ending name. But
Well, my thought is like,
well, actually, Dodongo is kind of like a gator, isn't it?
it's a big lizard.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that for now.
And if it is Dodongo, I mean, this got to be what?
I just love your jump right there. Like, did you not? Did you not see it right in front of you?
I kind of forgot about that. What I was about to say though, before my demise right there, it was so cool seeing like villains make another. I mean, Dodongo's been around. If these are Dodongos,
Yeah.
have been around since the original Zelda game. They've been in so many Zelda games. It's cool to see how they evolve over the generations of Zelda games. I mean, before they were orange blobs in the original Zelda.
Yeah.
Looked like
And they were a lot harder too back then.
Yes, they were. Man, getting the bombs in their mouths and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
and they turn directions like crazy. Yeah, although these do too.
Then you run out of bombs and can't kill them.
Well, obviously, what looks so hard right there, I didn't run through his temple. Red did, so I'm gonna find my spots to kind of get on him a little bit.
Oh, you got to.
And jumping right to a fire stream right in front of me is one of them.
But I didn't see it, I swear.
Yeah, he was right through you.
Yeah.
But I've done that too.
I have no excuses.
Yeah, well, you've seen some of my gameplay, but just one of the things that looks hard about this is the C targeting, like
It is.
his tail and his head or everything, you know.
It was giving me a hard time because you can see target either one, but it wants to go to his head.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're always he's always looking at you.
Yeah.
Obviously, so that's why it's always going to his head.
Yeah, it definitely made it tough to get around. That's why I finally just had to back out, let him come out to the platform a little bit, give him some more, give me.
You fight a couple times in this dungeon on the end of the platforms, and you get close sometimes.
Yeah, it's rough.
Later on, Link defies the laws of physics to Ginks. You have 1 foot completely off the platform, but you don't fall.
Hey, I like to live dangerously. What can I say?
I want to see you jump in another stream like that.
Notice I'm like terrified at every jump. Until later when I'm
That is still us. That's not this dungeon. That's every dungeon we're in.
It really is. It really is. So if you see me taking my time with some of these jumps, you saw why a few minutes ago.
Well, every time we go like balls to the walls when we mess up something.
But it's the most fun.
Yes, that is true.
This is just another little puzzle involving the iron boots. They're not really a puzzle, I guess, but to pull this huge door out of your way, or barrier, or whatever it is, you have to equip the boots, which you would think would make you heavier and less able to pull it, but
I like how you keep on trying to pull it, and then you take out the boots, and then you try to pull it again right here. Like you're going to try to hold it some more.
And that nearly cost me when I get...
it was pretty close.
Dude, I think I do a nice little somersault.
I remember like this simple puzzle taking me a while. Like I don't know if I just had my timing off, if I was maybe going like a different way. Yeah, you were close.
It'd been funny to see poor Link get squished in the door.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been funny.
Well, yeah.
We'd have laughed.
It'd been cool if you would have made it a little bit closer. Like maybe stopped.
Yeah. Build the suspense.
Yeah, build the suspense a little bit. Then you would have rolled right into the door probably.
Now this little part does, I guess, bring back, I hate to mention again, little memories of the water temple, though. We actually are going to use the boots to, like, sink.
How's there water in this place?
I know.
We're at the bottom of a volcano, there's lava everywhere, and then like, oh, here's some water! And then how does magnetic stuff work after you've been in water?
And I don't know the answer to that, but that's the first time we get to use the magnetized boots.
True.
And I love what they do with them from here on out. It's just such a nice touch.
Yeah. I'm right there. Magnets don't work with water, right? Or if they have water come in contact with them?
I don't know.
We'll go to the refrigerator after this commentary and figure that out.
We're going to do some experiments, so bear with us there. Now, another little wrinkle that this dungeon throws at us, instead of just finding a big key or boss key, you actually can get 3 shards from these 3 elders, I guess they are. To eventually construct the big key. So you don't have to find a chest or anything like that. We just find the 3 elders.
It's basically like finding 3 chests. Is what it is.
It kind of is.
But none of them are really that hard, I guess. They're kind of just like off rooms a little bit.
They are. And they're honestly all directions you're going too.
And obviously if you have the map, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yes,
it's a tough location for the map. That was hard to find.
We really had to go.
Especially with the guy just telling us right there, too. That's right there.
I know. Hey, but you got to watch out for the rupee chest here. Don't miss that one.
Yeah.
It's nice to give you a little bit of a break here, you know.
There's a couple times in this dungeon where you have a chest and they give you a yellow rupee, and I think that's just like, you know, Nintendo, just put a green rupee in there. You know,
it's what is it?
10. It's 10. Yeah. It's just why?
It's like why would you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I do think it's kind of cool too when you're in these rooms. And I think I've said it's kind of cool about a million times this commentary. I'll try to.
Well, Zelda's a cool game, man.
It is a very cool game, and I did say I like this dungeon. But when you come in here, the music is different from the rest of the dungeon.
And that's really cool.
It's reminiscent of the music from like Goron City.
Goron City, exactly.
So which makes sense since he's a Goron.
Yeah, and I do like that.
But it's just little touches, little touches. And here we meet our little companion who will let us warp out of the dungeon if we want.
Did you ever use him?
No,
I don't think I did either.
I think I would now if I went back and played knowing more about.
Well, now when we go in though, we come in prepared.
That's also true. Although I do nearly die.
But usually we come in prepared, so we usually don't have to go out. I think obviously when you die, you just respawn at the beginning or wherever you respawn at. But usually the items you need are in the dungeon.
Exactly. And if you come in prepared with a couple fairies, things like that, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess the example, not in this dungeon so much, but is lamps you got light sometimes. Sometimes you don't have lantern oil in this game, so that could be a reason to go back outside or whatever, I guess.
But even then, kind of like if you think to Arbiter Grounds where we do use our lamp some, there's like a pot of oil. Lantern oil, I guess is what you call it. Yeah, in there as well. So they look out for you.
Yeah, and this, like the whole magnetic, like I like the magnetic part of this dungeon. Well, obviously, I said that. Yeah. But like, they don't just do it like upside down. Like you can see right there, they also did sideways. So they didn't do it like one way. They did it a couple different ways.
The only downside is you do move a lot slower.
Yes, you do. And you see we're kind of fast forwarding through this because it takes forever.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. You always move slower with the iron boots, but when you have to cover as much terrain as we're about to cover in this next chunk, it is kind of annoying.
It's a pretty easy piece of art, though. I like how you missed that green rupee. You kind of circled around it, and you're just like, forget it. It's one rupee.
It wasn't worth another rotation of the joystick.
No.
I was more worried about the piece of heart there on the chest. You're right, though. It's not like a hard piece of heart.
No.
It's an easy one to miss if you go like straight the other direction.
Yeah. Now I want to know how all this magnetic stuff got in here. Like, how was this place put together?
I know. I mean, like I said earlier, it's like you can't even get to the upper level without going through a bunch of.
It's in a volcano. Now there was Gorons, but it's still Goron's got to get hot.
I would think so.
Like I said, they're really big. They gotta get hotter.
And they wear those hard armor or shells, whatever the heck they have on. They're thick skin, I guess.
But they eat rock sirloin, so you know what? I'm not gonna say what those guys can and cannot do.
And don't forget, without that rock sirloin, they can't jump off a 2-foot ledge. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Majora's Mask. We're looking at you.
Yeah, that's a nice flashback to Majora's Mask. But once we get to the end of this magnetized platform, that's pretty much going to wrap up part 1 of the Goron Mines.